Good afternoon, ma'am. This is Tristan Govender, and today we're going to be talking about part 3 of my peer cybersecurity chatbots and basically what it does. So, just like last time, Peer has the same features of helping people stay safe online by obviously answering their various cybersecurity questions and remembering what they're interested in so that he can bring it up later and educate them on stuff that they're actually interested in for once. But in the new version, we've also added some features being task creation, where you can auto and manually create tasks. Like, for example, let's say I want to create a password and I want Pierre to remind me of this. So I can create a task to tell him, remind me to create a password, and it will store up. And we can also do a quiz now, which makes sure we actually learn something out of the experience using Pierre. Among those, we also have the activity log, which basically tracks all the things that you did with Pierre all together, like creation of tasks or doing of the quiz or interest that you have. He also still maintains his tone detection, so he can feel the emotions you're feeling and help you through your struggles. As well as we've updated the interface into a WPF app, so it looks actually really cool aesthetically instead of just an ordinary console app. There are a few more features, but we'll show you those when we're actually running through the code. How about right now, we talk about why Pierre is different as well as go and show you through the code. The thing I like about Pierre is that, well, he's really different from Chatbox. He's not trying to be politically correct or anything. He talks like a friend, not like a textbook trying to lecture you. And I think that's better for people trying to learn and actually be interested in what they're learning. So here we see the first initial look at our GUI. Obviously stuff will be inside here. This is the main window, the GUI side of it, where we design the interface, and it's a much bigger improvement than the last time, as we can see. So how about we run through the code now? Apart from this main window GUI, there's also the major brain behind all of this code and all of this GUI, which is all of this. The main window screen is basically what you see when you open the app. It controls all the 3 tabs we have, being chat, the task, the quiz, and basically just handles the main functions of the app, like the user messages and the bot responses. It also has a few methods in between this to obviously, like at the bottom here, sort out the whole ASCII art and make everything look really nice aesthetically in terms of text, colors, and everything in between. Obviously, if we go up here, we see some of the questions for the quiz that we'll talk about later, as well as some predetermined responses, if I can find where up here, for like various things that have nothing to do with cybersecurity. Basically, these are random responses just to have fun with the bot, because like I said, we coded to think and act like a person, not a lecturer. No offense. Some other features we also handle here would be our task management system and obviously the main functions in the quiz. Then we move on to the keyword response manager, which basically is responsible for making randomized responses to each keyword topic. All right. So as you know from the last 2 times, every time you ask about a specific keyword, he gives you different responses each time instead of the same set in stone, throw it back at you type of response. After this, of course, we move to the random response manager, and these are actually where we store these random responses. As you can see, there's 3 of each for each of the major cybersecurity topics that we do ask questions on in our quiz, as well as a method for also helping with trying and getting the random response for each of these individual words. I'm sorry, I thought I could point. My word. But basically, yeah, these responses help Pierre sound more natural and not robotic, even though he is one. After this, we can move to the user memory, which basically is responsible for remembering all the interesting and not so interesting details about you, like for example your name or the aspects of cybersecurity that you are into. Like if I tell him I'm into malware or I'm worried about malware, he's going to remember that as I'm worried or into malware. This is where that happens. It gives Pierre a personality and allows him to personalize responses. After that, we go to the activity log entry, which basically records stuff or the activity log. So it will give you the timestamp, what you did, and a little description of what you did. Obviously, like details will be stuff like your score you got for your quiz, because he will log what you do for the quiz basically. Speaking of the quiz, let's go to the quiz question method, which basically has variables that we made for the quiz that we utilize in the main window, being question, options for the question, the actual right answer, and a little explanation like victory message at the end, right? Then we move on to our function for creating tasks, of course, called task item, which stores information that we use in the main window to store classes. These are things that we access and store data in when we are making classes, being the title, the description, the time for the reminder, and due date, you know? And then for some reason, when we were making the ASCII art and adding some features into the GUI to make it look nice, it just wasn't looking nice. The spacing on the GUI was really messed up, and all around this, the taskbar at the bottom where we enter text box was really bugged out, and like we just couldn't, it didn't look nice when we were typing. So this was a method we added with the help of YouTube, which helped us make our GUI actually look nice. Because when you started up, things were not aligned before, but thanks to this, we watched the YouTube video and it is linked below, and this helped us make our GUI look aesthetically pleasing. With all of that being said, it is finally time to go through Pierre, the cybersecurity bot, and show you the actual working features, including, you know, the stuff of last time and the stuff of this time. So just for a second, I'm gonna be quiet so you can hear that the welcome audio actually works.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?
So one of the features we added was better error handling for like name, because okay, we're not living in Stranger Things, so we can't have a number as our name, for example. You were able to enter a number as your name before, but not anymore, because if I try to, it'll tell me this. Let this finish typing out. And we can't just waste our time by storing one character, because if we do, like, this will happen. The error handling doesn't stop there, but let's actually give him what he wants, which is our name. These are the same messages from last time, as you can see, with the added, obviously, what would you like to talk about at the bottom, showing we integrated very well from last time into this. And now let's give him some gibberish that he will not understand, so we can show you the error handling from normal chat. And obviously, also we utilize our random responses and gave you many different types of error messages. All right. The randomized response don't just stop with cussing you out for giving him error messages. They also help you with the actual topics. For example, I'm interested, because my spelling is amazing, passwords. Let's tell him about that. And he tells us he has really good memory. I'll remember you into passwords, because we said something that I made an attachment between us and the word passwords, as well as gives us a fact about them. But obviously randomizes responses are a thing, so if I say password again, he will give me a different response than this. Yeah. Let him finish up. We also have the semantic responses, which utilize memory. It will memorize that obviously there's an attachment between you and the word of the keyword, as well as make a connection and calm you down if you're saying you're worried. For example, I am Mel. How do you spell Mel? Like this, okay. And then that happens. He memorizes it and also tries to calm you down before actually explaining what malware is. Yeah, I also saw the typo. It's fine. These are factors that we had in play last time for part 2 back in our console app. How about, now that we know all this stuff works, we move to task creation. Now there's 2 ways we can create tasks. There's one using the actual taskbar, which is manual. And there's also auto task creation, where I can just tell Pierre, add task called that, and he creates a task as well as logs it to say good luck with your task. And it actually stores up, because if you look at the task menu, here is our tasks. If you wanted to manually create one, you could go here and actually type out and say yes and no, because I'm running out of things to say. And it's due in a week, and we can add task, and yes, no saves. We also have a little message here telling us that yes was added successfully by us manually. When it's added by peer, it will tell you. And once you go through all the learning with peer, ask him your questions. In theory, we would like you to like obviously learn something, and you can test how much you learned with a quiz, right? It'll be empty at first, but as soon as you start it, it will display questions. Let's actually try and lock in for the first one, get full marks to show you. Damn, it looks like heaven's coming into my house. Anyways, let's try and lock in for the first one and do well, and then I'll show you. Obviously, there's different responses for based on how well you do, okay? I'll also not get one wrong, so you can see like, yeah. So that's the answer for that. And it cycles through it every single time. All right, that's the answer for that. If I'm quiet, it's because it's randomized order, so I actually have to make sure I know what I'm clicking. Open. False. Yep. Two-factor authentication is important because, yep. And when we do that, it'll tell us we got 8 out of 8 and, you know, celebrates with us. But if we wanted to do the quiz again, and let's show you that there's a different message for when you fail miserably. So I'm just gonna, and it gives you this as a message to ask you like, what are you doing with your life? Something I forgot to show you also is like, for example, add task, right? That's one way of saying it, but we have natural language, so we can actually, like, for synonyms of the word add. For example, create task. I'm running out of things to say. I'm just gonna call this VC. And he creates task. The error message shows because I made a mistake when I was adding the error handling controls earlier, but it does create a task, as you can see, called VC, auto created by peer. So it does have natural language programming, so it can see every time using different words for the same type of thing. I can't control the sun, I'm sorry. The final aspect that we will show you is obviously the activity log, where we say show you have to spell this properly, activity log, and he will tell us basically everything that we did in our session today. If it's more than 5 things, he'll say give you like half of it, and then say if you want to see the full thing, say show full log. So let's show you that that also works. Show full log and send that through. I clicked it twice, didn't I? Yeah. But yeah, it works. Computer's slow today, sorry. But yeah, these are the features of my cybersecurity app named Pierre, and we incorporated all the stuff from the console app part 2, as well as improved on it and added new stuff, obviously, and just made it look aesthetically pleasing while adding new and improved features and making the bot all around more human and more fun to interact with. But this is the Pierre cybersecurity bot, and I'm Tristan Govender, and I regret ever showing my face.